Hi, welcome to another episode of Espace News. This week we shall review the samples returned from Asteroid Bennu. We will see the complexity of Mars' surface in high resolution. Another update of Starbase. We'll see Blue Origin progress on the New Glenn and Moonbase update, as well as launches of this week, including Psyche mission. Tori Bruno from ULA tweeted this week to inform us about the recent progress the company has made in rebuilding the stage 2 of his Vulcan Centaur. Now, if you may remember, some structural tests or pressure tests was conducted on that second stage, which resulted in an explosion. The cause was an area which needed to be reinforced on the upper area of the pressure vessel, which they did and rebuilt, and this is the result from that rework. In a previous episode, I informed you about OSIRIS-REx mission bringing back samples of materials collected from the surface of a near-Earth asteroid called Bennu. These samples have been found to contain abundant water and carbon. The US Space Agency NASA has been saying recently this week, offering more evidence for a theory that life on Earth was seeded from outer space. Some of the samples also contained sulfide minerals. Bennu was selected in the first place because it has a bundle of many rocks, not formed into a hard shape like Earth or the Moon, for example. And indeed, the samples collected were also from many types of materials sitting next to each other. Now, many universities and institutes will be studying further these samples across the US, but also Canada and Japan. ESA this week released a reconstituted topography of Mars based on Mars Express satellite imaging. The area investigated is the Noctis Labyrinthus, which is a vast system of deep and steep valleys, about 1,200 km long and depth of up to 6 km. Now, this video visualizes a flight over the eastern part of Noctis Labyrinthus as seen by Mars Express's high-resolution stereo camera. It presents a perspective view down and across this fascinating landscape. Now, the various shapes are, according to ESA, caused by Martian volcanic activities. Now, Mars Express has orbited the red planet since 2003, imaging Mars' surface, mapping its minerals, studying its weak atmosphere, probing beneath its crust, and exploring how various phenomena interact in the Martian environment. At Starbase, the same has happened this week as the previous weeks, such as work on Starship 26 through 31 and boosters 8 and 9, as well as Star Factory build-up. Now, once again, the Starship 25 and booster hot stage ring were removed from booster 9 for further work. Ship 26 was expected to have been tested, where the site was cleared to that effect and the ship was filled with cryogenic liquid, but at the end no tests were conducted. Blue Origin has successfully tested this week their BE-3U with another duration engine hot fire tests at test stand 4670 in Huntsville. Two BE-3U engines, each producing 160,000 pounds of thrust, will power the second stage of New Glenn. This week was also a lucky day for those sky watchers, where we could see an annular eclipse, which is basically the eclipse is not completely taken out the sun, but just slightly smaller, so therefore you could basically see a ring around the moon of that particular sun. On Saturday, the 7th of October, the startup Payload Aerospace company has successfully flight tested its new rocket Miura-1 in orbit from its El Arenocilo test center in the province of Huelva, Andalusia, in the southwest coast of Spain, which is managed by INTA. Now, its payload was a set of scientific experiments of the Center of Applied Space Technology and Microgravity, also called ZARM. And Payload Aerospace is a Spanish company developing two partially reusable launch vehicles called Miura-1 and Miura-5. Miura-1 is designed as a rocket for suborbital flights to perform research or technology development in microgravity environment and or in the upper atmosphere. Now, the company has 160 employees as of last August and are expected to hire another 150 people by 2024. So if you are interested, it's the moment to send your CV. Evidently, Miura-5 is really the ultimate goal for this company, but they're just getting their teeth into Miura-1 just to get to know, a bit like SpaceX with Falcon 1. On October the 9th, Espace sent his Vega flight VV23 into sun-synchronous orbit at an elliptical altitude of 617 by 600 km from his ELV Centre Spatial Guyanais at Kourou in French Guiana. The payload was Theos 2 from Geoinformatics and Space Technology Development Agency GISTA, and Formosat Set R, also known as in English Triton, from Taiwan Space Agency TASA, as well as 10 other satellites in a rideshare mission. On the same day, SpaceX launched another batch of 21 Starlink V2 Mini out of Space Launch Complex 4 East in Vandenberg Space Force Base in California, and that is for his mission called Group 7-4 on board of a Falcon 9. It was the 14th flight of his booster as well, which landed on a drone ship. Of course, I Still Love You. October 13th, SpaceX launched the Falcon Heavy with its famous Psyche mission. So Psyche 16 is the asteroid that NASA wanted to launch last year, but due to delays in the satellite function tests and specific launch windows, they had to delay this flight to October this year. Now, a Psyche mission is a journey to a unique metal-rich asteroid orbiting the Sun between Mars and Jupiter. What makes the asteroid Psyche unique is that it appeared to be the exposed nickel-iron core of an early planet, one of the building blocks of our solar system. Because we cannot see or measure the Earth core directly, Psyche offers a unique window into the violent history of collision and accumulation of particles that created terrestrial planets. The Falcon Heavy lifted off from Space Launch Complex 39A from Kennedy Space Center in Florida. Now, its center core was brand new, as it often is these days, and was expanded due to the high performance required for this mission and with splashdown in the Atlantic Ocean. Its side boosters were reflown for a fourth time and returned to the Kennedy Space Center launch site for landing on what is called the landing zone 1 and 2. The satellite will reach the asteroid 16 Psyche in October 2029. That is a long way to wait. SpaceX launched a Falcon 9 with 22 Starlink V2 minis to low Earth orbit at 530 km altitude for a mission called Group 622. Now the launch took place at Space Launch Complex 40, Slick 40 also called, from Cape Canaveral Space Force Station in Florida. It was the 14th flight of this booster, which landed on the drone ship a shortfall of gravitas. The Moon is covered of regolith, which is a thin particle or dust which is so fine and abrasive that it can damage engines, spacecraft and clog spacesuits, as seen during Apollo missions. Notably, when Apollo 17 lunar rover lost his rear fender, the vehicle became so coated in driven-up dust that it threatened to overheat, until astronauts improvised a fix using recycled lunar maps. Now, the Soviet Union's Lunokhod 2 rover did indeed perish through overheating when his radiator got covered in dust. Scientists revealed this week a way to minimize lunar dust, as seen also by ESA. The idea is to use a powerful laser from Earth pointing to specific areas of the Moon in order to melt and therefore solidify the regolith to create roads and landing sites to reduce the lunar dust during landing, takes-off and travels within the lunar base. This week's pictures are those from the James Webb Space Telescope, which has observed the Orion Nebula and Trapezium cluster using the near-infrared camera instrument. The new images provide unprecedented spatial resolution and spectral sensitivity compared to previous telescopes of this area. This equipment has the ability to collect a wide range of wavelengths. In simple words, it can collect information ranging from high-frequency signal or high density or energy to low-frequency signals or low energy. The first image is the Orion Nebula seen using the high-frequency mode. Many of the young stars are surrounded by dense disks of gas and dust, which may be forming planet according to the ESA. The second image is the same part of the universe, but this time using the low frequency of the James Webb Space Telescope, revealing the gas, dust and molecules with unprecedented sensitivity in infrared, but at lower spatial resolution than in the higher frequency images. The cavity is mostly filled with ionized gas, seen here in purple, whilst the surroundings have a mix of dust and molecular gas, seen in reds, browns and greens. Scientists have used a very large set of data to generate the two pictures. A total of 3,100 individual images were taken to provide these two pictures. Thank you once again for joining me in this week's Space News. Enjoy your weekend and see you next week with more exciting space news. Thank you and goodbye.